Hey everybody, welcome back to CALLOUS Invitational 5 content. This is Johnnyg and Hclat in the winner's bracket, and this was initially supposed to be narrated by Techless, but I guess he's not feeling 100%, so it's going to fall on me to take care of this, and I'm glad I get to do so. This is a huge matchup. Anything round 4 winners matchup is a very big deal. If you win here, you put yourself one series win away from guaranteed money with our over $2,000 prize pool, which is a pretty big deal. So obviously, these guys have a lot to play for. Tale of two opposites, though. Johnnyg2. It's his very first CALLOUS Invitational. And obviously off to a good start. 2-0, including a victory in round 1 over Roro, is really good. Hclat on the other side has been here before. He's played 4 of these CALLOUS Invitational tours, and he has started out 2-0 in the past. He's never been able to close the deal. He's never been able to finish it and actually make money in these tournaments, but he is off to a great start yet again and is looking like he can make it happen. Johnny's looking hot in this tour. This is an unfortunate pairing. I think these guys know each other pretty well and are pretty friendly, but that is the nature of the beast. The loser isn't out. They just drop down to the lower bracket, but obviously putting yourself in the position where you're one win away from guaranteed money and you don't have to play next week and potentially get knocked out of the tour in the lower bracket is a really good place to be and a lot to play for. So let's get into it. Johnny on the bottom, Hclat on the top, T-Tower lead for both guys. And they're both going to stay in. And they're both going to sub. Ballsy here. Neither one afraid. Both have lefties, as you would think makes sense with a substitute set. And here comes the focus punch from both guys. Obviously, both subs popped. So what do you do now? Hclat goes straight punch. And Johnny's had enough. He knows he's outsped. Out of the way he goes. Doesn't have the balls to stay in and disrupt the focus punch. So he's going to go to Scarm and he's going to spike up, but he's going to have to eat 2, maybe even a third focus punch in doing so. Here comes the third punch. And yep, there is Toxic. So that's going to put a clock on the T-Tower, but advantage Hclat even with the one spike down. Now we have Tower on meta. We know it's a focus punch lefties substitute tower of some kind. Meteor Mash is going to miss on the incoming Zapdos for Johnnyg. Back to meta, and that's going to meet a previously unrevealed doll. Going to eat a 49% mash, but Rapid Spin comes down. No more spikes for Johnny, and of course he can't reestablish them either with the Scarm gone. Mash and attack raise. Earthquake only 40%. Meta dangerous here, and Hclat allows the doll to die. No Dugtrio for revenge. We have a Starmie instead. And that's going to be met by the Zapdos immediately. Looks to be some kind of off-star with Hydro Pump. Then again, Zapdos might be bulky. Takes it pretty well. Just 38% from what I think is an off-star. T-Bolt comes down. Tyranitar reappears. It's still poisoned from before. It's at 59% now. Focus Punch. And Starmie's going to come in for Johnnyg. 41% the Focus Punch does. That also might be an off-star. Scarm comes in, and indeed it is Hydro Pump. So both of them with some overlap here. They both have a Metagross. They both have an off-star. They both have a sub-punch T-Tar. And, well, one thing that Johnny doesn't have is a good switch in apparently to the Focus Punch Lax, or at least the ability to call that, because had he known Focus Punch was coming, he could have gone to the Resistance in Zapdos, the Resistance in Starmie. Instead, he brings his T-Tar into it, gets it instantly killed, and obviously Hclat with the advantage after that sequence. Agilagross from Johnny, swing and a miss with Earthquake there on the opposing meta. Remarkably similar teams here as Hclat shows his last to be Zapdos. There's the Boom trading with the weakened poisoned T-Tar, which is favorable for Hclat. Hclat seemingly outplaying Johnny in this opening game and clearly ahead at this moment. That Sleep Powder miss does not help, but maybe he goes for it again. Yep. And that's going to connect with the meta on the second attempt. It's going to be taking a nap even though it's gaining lefties. Now a Leech Seed missed at a bad time. RNG not cooperative with Johnnyg, who's already behind. No more games. Here's Hidden Power. There's the Wake Up. And there's the boom. Johnny's got to be kicking himself for going for that Leech Seed. Had he just gone Hidden Power twice in a row, different situation. But now Johnny finds himself with only 2 Pokemon remaining. Make that 1 Pokemon remaining as an Ice Beam crits. Starmie, the only hope for Johnny, is going to have to win the speed tie and get a crit here, I believe. Goes straight Hydro Pump. Maybe he doesn't even have Thunderbolt. And HP Grass coming down from the Starmie of Hclat to finish the game. So I guess neither one has Thunderbolt. So they might be off-stars that have Rapid Spin that are opting for Hidden Power and or Psychic in the usual Thunderbolt spot. Remarkably similar teams, like I said, from these guys, but Hclat outplays Johnny in this one and earns the Game 1 victory in a relatively clean game. Not a lot of nonsense in this one, maybe a little bit of bad Venusaur RNG for Johnny, but by and large a clean game in which the guy who played better won, which is the way we all wish it was in every game, but alas, Pokemon is not that way. So, on to Game 2. Should Hclat win here? He's in great shape. He's got a bye next week, and Johnny has to fight it out in the lower bracket. Should Johnny win here, he forces a Game 3 for those same stakes. So here's Johnny on the bottom again with a T-Tar. Hclat is on the top. He's got a Salamence this time. Intimidate potentially relevant, and here is Vaporeon, who does not care at all about a Fire Blast unless it burns, which it doesn't. Out of the way he goes. And it's a double back for Johnny as well. Will he risk it? No, he fears the Fire Punch. And that is rightfully so, as it turns out, because indeed, Jirachi has Fire Punch and goes for that here. Going to Fire Punch again on the incoming Bliss. And that's going to be met with an S-Toss, which is going to reveal that it's a bulky Jirachi with 404 HP. Now Skarm comes in. Soft-boiled for Bliss. Sure. Fori traditionally matches up relatively well against Skarm, but Skarm is going to get the jump this time by getting the initial lair. Now Mence comes in, and Johnny spikes up as well, so we've got 1 lair each. Vaporeon comes in to check the Mence. Hidden Power, wow. Hidden Power Grass, immediate crit, 72%. Not good for Johnny. Loses his bulky water there with nothing to show for it. Relevant crit for Hclat. And now Johnny is going to really have to outplay in order to crawl back out of that hole. That was a poor crit for him, without a doubt. So he's going to rely on DD-Tar to try to get out of this, which is one hell of a poke. Here comes Swampert. And Rock Slide, unluckily, going to miss for Johnny. Not that it would have done a lot, but bad luck is not what he needs right now when he's already behind. Out of the way he goes. It doesn't seem to be the very rare DD HP Grass Tar. Gengar comes in, and Johnny doesn't fall for it. Spikes number 2 as opposed to a Rapid Spin attempt. Full team revealed for Clat. 1 poke in the back for Johnny. Will-O-Wisp missing here, but Gengar obviously has the ability to potentially blow up on Bliss. That is not what happens here. We end up with Skarm on Bliss, Ice Beam fishing for a freeze, which is seemingly something like that is what Johnny needs to get back into this game. I don't like the S-Toss there. Ice Beam again all day. Gotta play for hacks. He must realize he's behind. Gotta go for freezes here. I don't like or agree with the S-Tosses here. I would be Ice Beaming all day and trying to catch something. But Johnny sees it differently. He's repeatedly going for S-Toss here. Skarm is down to 13%. Now here's the Rachi switch. And that doesn't care about S-Toss at all, assuming it is a Wish variant. And it is Wish, and at this point Aromatherapy comes down, which is kind of weird. That was only for her, I believe. I don't think anybody else had status, so a self-aromatherapy on a natural Curemon. Interesting decision for Johnny. Back he goes to Gar. And here's Wish again. We've seen the Toxic here, and you assume the last move is Protect, so we probably know the full set of the Rachi. Will-O-Wisp here is going to land on Skarm, but in exchange, it's going to get a Wish, so it's going to be healthy but burnt. Here comes Doll, and here comes Tar. Huge 50-50 here. Do you Rapid Spin, or do you EQ, or do you Psychic? And he decides that the Tar is going to stay in. He's right. He Earthquakes, and he is immediately crit by Crunch, which is terrible for Johnny. Makes the right play, but is not rewarded. A critical hit comes down at an awful time. Johnny has lost 2 pokes in this battle to crits, and it is not looking good for him. This is going to be very difficult for him to win now without Claydol and having to live with all 3 of those spikes, presumably, for the remainder of the game. The Fori may or may not have spin, but unless he can find a way to remove the Gengar on the other side, it will be spin blocked all day by that Gar. So Rachi gets burnt here with Will-O-Wisp, gives Johnny a little bit of hope. Back to Bliss. Here's Fire Punch. That also burns, 20% chance of that with Serene Grace. Blissey down to about half. Here's Wish and Soft Boiled, respectively. Both of them opting for recovery moves. Can't blame them. Fire Punch again. Being met by S-Toss, 25%. Wish kicks in at this point. Rachi at almost full health. Bliss doing not as well at about 2/3, but she's fine. Wish and Aromatherapy. Again, this weird play, but I guess he feels that he just doesn't have a good switch into the Rachi. Toxic and S-Toss. Sure. This Blissey is never killing the Jirachi. You can't even freeze it because of the burn, so I don't know where Johnny's trying to go with this, but this looks to be going a whole lot of nowhere in my view. But he hasn't switched. Here comes T-Tar. That would die to S-Toss, which is what he goes for. So on paper, we've got a tie here at 4-4, but it still feels to me like Hclat is quite a bit ahead. Here's the switch out finally. Fori into Gengar is really weird. It's almost always the other way around. But there is Taunt. So I guess he could have like HP Ghost and Crit or something. Even if he had that, Will-O-Wisp is going to make that not matter. And wow, it actually is HP Ghost. I was half joking, but it actually is HP Ghost. It's really weird. But the Will-O-Wisp is going to make it so even a crit wouldn't be good enough. And as we see, the crit doesn't come. Fori about to die. Thunderbolt takes it out. And we're going to go back to Gengar now. Gar on Gar matchup. Gar seems to be a poke neither one has a fantastic switch into. And there's a taunt for Johnny. Interesting. Okay, well it prevents the Wish from Rachi. And now he's going to go aggro. Thunderbolt and Fire Punch respectively. Doesn't get burnt. That's a good start. Rachi's still burnt on the other side. Do you taunt him again? No. He plays aggressively with T-Bolt. There's the Wish. Haven't actually seen the last move, but it's probably Protect. And indeed, the Protect kicks in. So Rachi manages to heal back up a little bit. But it is, of course, still under the assault of the Gar, and it's still burnt. It's at 54% right now. Gar again with Thunderbolt, and Fire Punch thinking maybe a taunt will come down, but it didn't. Now do you taunt? More mind games. Thunderbolt again, and Fire Punch again for Hclat. Hasn't found the burn, which Johnny really needs to avoid any more bad luck at this point. And finally the Rachi dies, so we have again an air quotes tie at 3-3. But I still really like Hclat's position in this game. Here's the T-Tar switch into Gar. 25% T-Bolt. Crunch or Pursuit. Here's Swampert. Rock Slide. Sorry guys, I thought it was a special tar because I saw the Fori, but it is actually a physical tar in this case. We're not relying on Fori to spin. We have Claydol for that. So that frees up the physical tar that Johnny's using here. Now we have Blissey trying to stall out Swampert, and Hclat now fishing for crits. Doesn't seem to have Focus Punch, so Earthquake is going to have to suffice. Blissey has only 10 Soft Boileds left, whereas there are 14 Earthquakes for Pert. So this does not seem like a long-term winning play for Johnny. At some point, he's going to have to sneak the Gengar in on an Earthquake, or he's going to have to Ice Beam and pray for a freeze. I don't get the lack of Ice Beams from Johnny all game. What is the point of Seismic Toss? Where does that get you? You have to soft boil the next 2 or 3 turns anyway, so any S-Toss damage that you do is going to be negated. I don't understand. Click that damn Ice Beam, man. I had the same thought earlier against Skarm, but even now, even more so now, he's even further behind. Fuck Seismic Toss. It does nothing. Swampert already recovered all the damage. If you're attacking, click Ice Beam. And he does, but the freeze doesn't come. Running out of options here, just 6 soft-boileds left, and he's 1 crit away from terrible death. And there it is, finally, a lot of chances, and it comes for Hclat. Hclat down to 2 pokes. Gengar goes Destiny Bond, trying to trade with Pert here, which would give him a vague chance. Here's the Mance. Call it. Nope. Destiny Bond. Maybe Gengar can outspeed and one-hit KO with Ice Punch here? No. Destiny Bond again. So he's going to trade with the Mence, and that leaves us with only the T-Tar for Johnny against 2 pokes for Hclat, one of which is a nearly full health Swampert. He's going to need a lot of Rock Slide flinches here, and he does not get it. Immediately Earthquake down, and Hclat with the 2-0 victory and the week off next week over Johnnyg2. Johnny absolutely got unlucky in this game. I can't understate that. He lost both the Vaporeon and one other poke, the T-Tar. Yes, the Vaporeon and the T-Tar. Or no, the Claydol. I'm sorry, Claydol against T-Tar. He lost the Vaporeon and the Claydol to critical hits. And it matters. I absolutely don't want to take that away that he got unlucky. But even with that, I don't know that Johnny played this game perfectly. I think he didn't fish for Ice Beams enough. I think he had a couple 50-50 chances that didn't go his way. It's hard to play when you're behind. Most of us, with the luck that he had, would have lost this game, but I do think that this game was winnable, and I think Hclat played better in both games. Game 1, a lot cleaner. Game 2, a lot haxier, but I think Hclat was the better player in both games, and I think the better player won the series and deserves to win the series. So I don't have too many complaints about the outcome of this one. Johnny's looked good throughout the tour. I think he's very capable of making a lower bracket run. But looking at this match and this match alone, I think Hclat played better and therefore deserves the win. Like I said, he'll have the week off next week, which is pretty sweet. And who knows where it could go from there. It puts him 1 victory away from that sweet cash money. We are accepting donations. If you guys want to bolster our prize pool, it's over 2K, which is amazing right now. But if we can get it over 2,200, it will beat out Blunder Tour as what I believe to be the highest paying Pokemon side tour ever. So that's a goal that I personally would really love to meet. Either way, please hit the like button if you guys have enjoyed this video and this tournament so far. Leave a comment if you want to chime in on what you think of the series. And I will see you guys soon, probably next round in my case, for more CALLOUS Invitational.